The Moto G Power 2022 edition is the latest phone in one of the most successful budget phone series, known for its ultra-long battery life. This latest edition comes with a big 6.5-inch screen that now features a 90Hz fast refresh rate, but it also cuts quite a few corners with a MediaTek processor inside, an LCD display with bleak colors, and a few questions around the camera. Of course, some of those are expected for a dirt cheap device like this here that costs around just $200, but can you live with them? And ultimately, should you buy the new Moto G Power 2022? Hello guys, my name is Vic with PhoneArena, and the G Power is made out of plastic, but we don't really mind. It has this cool wave-like pattern on the back, and with that pill-shaped camera system, we'd say that it actually even looks stylish. Unfortunately, the front of the phone is far from style. It has these giant screen borders with an extra big chin on the bottom. Considering the bigger size and battery capacity though, the phone still manages to maintain a reasonable weight. The power and volume buttons are all on the right side, they feel clicky with a decent amount of travel, so that's good. And on the bottom you get a USB-C port, while on the top you have a headphone jack. Now on the left side you have the SIM tray, which is of the hybrid kind, meaning that it can either take 2 SIM cards or a single SIM plus a micro SD card, which we like. Now on the back, neatly embedded in the M Motorola logo, is a fingerprint scanner of the traditional kind, which is snappy and reliable, which is a nice change from mediocre in-screen fingerprint readers on other budget phones. The 6.5-inch screen, as we mentioned, is LCD rather than the newer OLED kind, and unfortunately it is a bit of a weak point. It has these bleak colors and the white balance is off too, as colors are all over the place. Plus it's only 720p resolution, so not quite as tack sharp as other budget phones. Now the hallmark feature is support for 90Hz fast refresh rate, which is a rarity in this price class, and that adds a bit of needed smoothness while scrolling, and we actually appreciate having that. But another compromise that Motorola made with the G Power is under the hood, and it comes in the form of the MediaTek Helio G37 chip, which is quite slow, and despite the super clean Moto take on Android and the low resolution, the phone still often stutters and lags a bit. You also get only 4GB of RAM on board, which is kind of on the low side. Benchmark tests only confirm this, as the G Power scores way below rivals. However, you may forget about some of that once you actually get to use that gigantic 5000 mAh battery inside the phone that just lasts on and on. And in our testing, the new G Power can easily get 2 days between charges, something that very few other phones can brag about. Motorola officially says that you can stretch this to a full 3 days off the charger, and we can confirm this is possible if you don't push your phone too much. Unfortunately, charging is pretty slow at just 10 watt speeds, meaning it will take more than 2 hours and close to 3 hours to fully top up this massive battery. There's also no wireless charging support, but that's something we kind of expect at this price. Now, while it would seem that you get a triple camera on the back, the reality is that only the main 50 megapixel camera kind of counts, while the other two are 2 megapixel macro and 2 megapixel depth lenses that are practically useless. They are really no good. The main camera uses quad binning by default and captures 12.5 megapixel photos that look decent in good light, but never great. Notice the bleaker colors and loss of detail in the shadows, plus quality quickly falls apart in dim conditions. Again, we have to keep our expectations in check at this price point, but still. Now on the front there is an 8 megapixel camera which shoots decent selfies with warm tonalities and a decent amount of detail, but again it also burns out the highlights. Video is captured at 1080p resolution, and the only setting that you can customize is to turn on or off video stabilization, but even with stabilization enabled, video footage looks shaky and it easily burns out the highlights. Now unfortunately also the camera app is frustratingly slow too, and the viewfinder lags and stutters quite a bit. Now to be honest, it's impossible to get a great camera phone at this price, so for anyone who values a good camera, we recommend a bigger budget. Well, at least doubling your budget actually to the Pixel 5a, which is the first phone that comes to mind with a great camera, and that phone costs $450, so it's a far cry in terms of price. Now, call quality, however, here was fine on the Moto G Power and we had no major issues. However, playing back music via the loudspeakers wasn't the best experience, especially if you crank up the volume when sounds start to distort and you lack any form of bass, so you get more of a hissy sound. The Moto G Power price is set at about $200, which is about as cheap as new phones get. Now, those who want a camera that is anything above mediocre should consider spending a bit more to a device like, say, the Galaxy A32 5G, which can take much better looking photos and videos. Another good option that costs only slightly more is the OnePlus Nord N200, and that offers a 1080p screen, sharper, faster performance, and a lot more refinement. So the Moto G Power is a plain and simple phone with excellent battery life. It handles daily tasks just fine, but the processor is slow for even heavier browsing and especially for more intense tasks. We also found that the LCD display quality was lacking and the camera was barely passable. It's also disappointing that this phone ships with the older Android 11 version and Motorola only promises one major update in the future. So the G Power 2022 edition is all about budget and battery life. And if you highly value those, then it will get the job done. Still, if you care about performance or camera quality, you should spend at least a tiny bit more, which will buy you a vastly more powerful phone all around. So this will do it for this review of the Moto G Power 2022 edition. Let me know if you own the phone, what do you think about it, and what do you think about budget phones in general? Are they worth it, or should we just be spending a bit more and getting slightly better phones? Anyway, that's been it. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. My name is Vic. This is PhoneArena, and I'll see you guys in the next one.